he knows more than you do.
That's right.
Students, send your science and engineering questions to Ask Dr. Computer Science and Engineering. Remember, he's not a real doctor.
I have a master's degree
in computer science and engineering. The first question is from Mr. Paul Vines. Mr. Vines writes, Dear Dr. CSE, my advisor keeps saying my ideas are interesting. At first, I thought it was a good thing. But since then, I've been experimenting with giving my advisor really bad ideas, along with good ones, and he always just says, interesting. Do you have any idea how I can determine if my advisor is actually a poorly programmed class project? Assuming he is not, how can I get at least one bit of information out of interesting?
Where are you, Mr. Vines? Aha, all the way over there. And who, pray tell, is this advisor? Aha! Well, that's shocking. This is going to be easy. As I'm sure you know, an advanced degree in computer science and engineering requires a foreign language course. And the one the department highly recommends is Professorese 101. The problem is that your advisor is speaking Professorese, and you obviously do not. Luckily, with your advisor, you really only need one or two phrases. Because, as you noted, that's all he ever uses. So I'm going to give you a quick primer, and you'll quickly get the hang of it, and soon you two will be hitting it off like crazy. So, here we go, how to interpret Professorese. So first of all, oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong slide. So, I'm going to show you some professor speak. We'll see what the student thinks of that, and we'll find out what it really means. And after this, you'll be able to really understand what your professor is saying to you. For example, professor says, interesting. Student hears, I'm finally making progress. Professor means, I have no idea what you're talking about. Or, that slightly modified Yoshi expression, very interesting. Student hears, my thesis is near. Professor means, I get it and I hate it. Next, fantastic. You might consider X as a small tweak. Student hears, he's really engaged in my research. Professor means, your idea sucks. Do X or you're out of here. Next, you should talk to Professor Y, she's an expert. The student hears, finally, the co-advising the CSE always promised me. Professor means, I really hope he'll change advisors. And finally, thank you very much. Student hears, he really appreciates my work. Professor means, thank you for leaving my office so I can get back to Facebook. Thank you. Next question.
Thank you, Dr. Computer Science and Engineering. Students, send your science and engineering questions to Ask Dr. Computer Science and Engineering. Remember, he's not a real doctor.
I have a master's degree
in computer science and engineering. This next question is from Ms. Irene Zhang, who writes, Dear Dr. CSE, I have a pressing medical issue for you. For the past 2 years, I have been plagued by a constant fear that my advisor might appear at any time. This worrying has become so severe that it has begun to seriously impact my ability to browse Facebook and watch cat videos on YouTube. Since I cannot afford a real doctor, I looked up my symptoms on WebMD. It diagnosed me with generalized anxiety disorder, constant and intrusive thoughts of my advisor. I spoke with lab mates and they too seem to be plagued with similar ailments, including social anxiety disorder, a feeling of dread before meetings with our advisor, and hankoraphobia, a fear of public spaces for fear that he might be lurking there. Dr. CSE, is there anything you can prescribe for us?
Dear Ms. Zhang, where are you? Aha. I'm thrilled to see that since you need somebody who's not a real doctor, you came right to Dr. CSE. In any case, tell me, who is this horribly frightening advisor of yours who is causing you so much stress?
Dr. CSE. No.
I thought you looked familiar. Well, I'm very sorry about this. Nonetheless, from your question, I feel that the underlying problem may be a result of your academic insecurities, which I can see in your message are caused by the fact that your spelling really sucks. In addition, you have a psychological condition known as FAP, PhD advisor phobia. While your illness is psychological, using the knowledge from my master's degree in computer science and engineering, I have devised a technological solution to your problem, a new device which I call the AAPS, the Anti-Advisor Privacy Shield. If you'll come up, I will demonstrate this device. Now, you cannot possibly be shocked that this has happened.
I'm scared. Oh no.
Don't worry, it won't hurt at all. So, here we have a specially modified laptop, and I will show you how it works. So, I'll hold the laptop. You may begin typing. Now, when your advisor's not there, when you're working normally and look at cat pictures, you just look inside. This special flap goes down over your head. Now, should your advisor suddenly show up, you simply move your head back and notice that the privacy shield comes down. In addition, the privacy shield makes it look as if she's reading her advisor's favorite 1963 paper. He will be duly impressed, so much so that he will immediately give her a PhD. Now, in addition,
Oh no.
a real psychologist would use a normal technique to deal with phobias, which is to expose you little by little to the thing you're afraid of, so that over time you build up resistance. So for your lab, I'm going to give you the following.
Thank you. Can we get this signed?
Thank you, Dr. Computer Science and Engineering. Students, send your science and engineering questions to Ask Dr. Computer Science and Engineering. Remember, he's not a real doctor.
I have a master's degree.
In computer science and engineering. Fortunately, this last question is from Mr. Brandon Holt, who writes, Dr. CSE, I recently moved offices, but this new environment has proven far too distracting, and now my productivity has taken a huge drop. I often struggle for most of the day with sun pouring into my office, drowning me in its rays, glaring at me through reflections on my glossy laptop screen. In addition, whenever the mountains are out, I am unable to tear my eyes away from them, causing me to lose hours of work time. I came to CSE because I thought the incessant rain would keep me inside working. Now I'm concerned I'll never finish my PhD. Dr. CSE, what should I do? Yours concernedly, Sunburned in Seattle.
Dear Mr. Holt, where are you, Mr. Holt? That's fine. I too have been suffering from these terrible long weeks of sunshine that we endured last month. And I know that you and I both long for those short, dreary, dismal, rainy days of winter, which we all know and hope lie ahead. Of course, I understand that you wish to finish a PhD, although for what reason, I really have no idea whatsoever. Look, your advisor has a PhD, and last summer he decided to impress Dr. CSE by breaking his leg in multiple places while I was watching. Boy, now that's really smart. So let me see, your goal is To be like him? Okay, well, despite this advice, I don't want to get in your way, so I will now show you how to be more productive on those awful work-draining sunny days. Please come up.
Is it sitting? I don't usually.
You may sit.
Sit.
Oh, you want to do that? So for this, I will need an assistant. And I have noticed in the audience a very famous professor, Dr. Jeff Volker from UCSD. And I would like to invite him to come up and help Dr. CSE.
That's why I didn't go to UCSD. It's too sunny there.
Professor Volker, you apparently also have a PhD, is that correct?
So they tell me.
And where did you get this PhD?
From some strange minor university in Seattle.
And who was your advisor?
Some guy who didn't have a PhD.
Okay.
That was the first step where I went wrong.
Okay, so first, it's important to always wear eye protection when you're doing an experiment. There we go. Perfect. So now pretend that you're in your office. It's a sunny day. You're trying to get work done. This is how we improve your productivity. Is that better?
Thank you. Oh.
You don't seem to be typing much faster.
I don't need to type fast.
You need to type fast if you're going to get that PhD done anytime soon. Believe
I
me.
just copy and paste the other papers. So.
I'm sorry. This is a failed experiment. This student is not working any better in these conditions. We'll have to try something else. I have a student accelerator that should work better. I'm going to ask my assistant to bring me this student accelerator. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Computer Science and Engineering. And students, send those science and engineering questions to Ask Dr. Computer Science and Engineering. Remember, he's not a real doctor.
I have a master's degree.
In computer science and engineering.
I actually have a Hanukkah present for Dr. CSE. It's a few days early. Dan, would you remove Dr. CSE's robe for a sec? Dr. CSE, you may unwrap this. I didn't tie a knot in it. You can undo this.
Yeah, I know if you can see.
This is the closest we could come to an honorary doctorate. Congratulations, Dr. CSE.
It says, "Trust me, I'm a doctor of computer science." Thank you. The faculty skit will start in 10 minutes. So grab a drink and they'll be right back.